and this is practically speaking, is that it is not at all unreasonable to think of God the Father as the spirit that arises from the crowd that exists into the future, right? And we talked about that in relationship to the idea of sacrifice, at least a little bit, or we're going to. You make sacrifices in the present so that the future is happy with you. And the question is, what is that future that would be happy with you? And the answer to that is, it's the spirit of humanity. That's who you're negotiating with, because you make the assumption that if you forego impulsive pleasure and get your medical degree, that when you're done in 10 years and you're a physician, humanity as such will honor your sacrifice and commitment and open the doors to you, right? So you're treating the future as if it's a single being, and you're also treating it as if it's something like a compassionate judge. You're acting that out. And maybe we had to imagine God in that form before we could understand. Once we started to understand that there was a future, perhaps we had to imagine God in that form in order to concretize something that we could bargain with, so that we could figure out how to use sacrifice to figure out how to guide ourselves into the future. Because a sacrifice is a contract with the future, but it's not a contract with any particular person. It's a contract with the spirit of humanity as such. It's something like that. And so when you think about it that way, that should make you faint with amazement, because that is such a bloody amazing idea. To come up with that idea that you can bargain with the future, that is some idea, man. That's like the major idea of humankind. We suffer. What do we do about it? We figure out how to bargain with the future, and we minimize suffering in that manner. It's like no other animal does that either. You know, like lions, they just eat everything. I think a wolf can eat 40 pounds of meat in a single sitting. Right? It's like there's some meat, eat it. It's like not like save some mammoth for tomorrow. That's not a wolf thing, man. That's a human thing. And that might mean you have to be hungry today. Or maybe you're a farmer, you know, several thousand years ago, 6,000 years ago or so, when agriculture first got going, and you're starving to death, waiting for the spring planting, and you think we bloody well better not eat those seeds. Right? And that's really something, to be able to control yourself, to make the future real, to put off what you could use today, and not just in some impulsive manner. Man, maybe your kids are starving to death. You think, we are not touching the seeds that we need for the future. And for human beings to have discovered that, and then to also have figured out that we could bargain with the future, it's like, man, that's something. And I think that the stories that are laid out in this book actually describe, at least in part, the process by which that occurred.